This is the Comedy Kiosk, podcast by Monday and Munoz. Please welcome Monday and Munoz.
Welcome to the Comedy Kiosk, a podcast in which we discuss news, opinions, and ideas about comedy. My name is David Munoz.
And I'm Igor Monday.
And today's topic is, can you hack it? Now, this is a topic that I wanted to discuss based on something that Igor actually said. So please explain, what the hell did you see?
Yeah, so the idea came after watching a TV show that we've already mentioned and discussed in one of our episodes. Mm-hmm. It's a TV series based around a comedian trying to make it in stand-up. Basically, he starts from open mics and works his way through all the levels, etc., etc. Yeah. It's called Crashing, and it's a pretty good watch. But there is a scene in this TV series where at, I think it's Comedy Cellar, right? The famous venue, the famous comedy club in New York, right? And while there is a show going on in the main stage room, right, there are two comedians getting a drink at a bar or whatever, and they just hear it as a background noise. Basically, I guess they're on the second floor or something like this.
Yeah, because it's like their hangout place. They have a hangout in the upper floor, kind of off to the side.
So what they hear is just the reaction of the audience, right? And there is a comic performing that gets laughs every, 20, 30 seconds, the laugh of the whole room, right? And one of the comedians, I don't remember the name, maybe you remember the name of this comic?
Colin Quinn. Right.
So he tells the other guy, I've learned in all my years in stand-up, in business, that if you get the whole room laughing, like 100% of the room is laughing at your jokes, there's something hacky going on, right? And it really kind of triggered some kind of thought process where I started thinking, wait, is that really true? Because, and it seems like it is from what I've seen here on our shows, if you get 100%, and I'm talking about some showcases, feature shows, and so on, not solo shows, not specials of one comic, because in that case, that's your audience, and of course they would laugh at your material.
Yeah,
right?
and they know what to expect. So if you are a comedian who does, let's put in quotation marks, hacking material, then they're expecting to hear that and see that, right?
Yeah, so I'm talking more about shows where there is kind of a lineup of 4, 5, 10 comics, or this show in question, I guess it's a show that they do at the Comedy Cellar. It's a show where experienced, well-known, even kind of TV comedians can just drop by and do their set, right? So it's always an interesting mix of, let's say, older generation, newer generation, some kind of one-liners, deadpan, storytellers, you don't know what to expect. So in those kind of shows, if someone hits the target 100%, if they get 100% of people laughing, there's something hacky going on. Yeah, and that's why it inspired me to propose this as a topic and to discuss what is a hack, how does it work, should it work, etc.
Okay, so then what is hack then, in your opinion? I mean, is it just something that's very base, like a base sort of humor? It's really simple and not intelligent? Or is it something is it a gimmick? What do you think? What is hack, for the listener to kind of get an idea? Because I think even for comedians, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to discern what is hack.
I would say that anything that will bring you some kind of easy results without hard work, that's a hack, right? So if you know that some kind of tag, punchline, or the whole joke bit will work before you've ever actually workshopped it, practiced it, updated it, fine-tune it, whatever. Yeah. So if you know that it's going to work based on something that people always laugh at, right? So you're going to get the crowd on your side and you're going to get the crowd laughing without putting that work in. I would say it's like, it's similar to video games. For example, when instead of learning, we play a fighting game, and instead of learning all the moves, you just button smash and you get, you win. So that's, or even worse, you just look up some cheat codes online and you get the best weapon or the best vehicle or whatever, and that's your way to beat the boss.
What was it in Doom? War? It was IDDQD, God mode. Just throw it on. ID clip, go through the walls. Who cares? And or E Honda in Street Fighter. Just button smash the punch and move forward and just corner them.
Yeah, spam the same move. They cannot get up, and you. Yeah. So that's the thing. I think if you do something with the attention of winning. In this case, winning means getting the room laughing at your joke without the intention of putting work in, but just simply reaching that result. You know, exploiting some kind of weakness of that of that specific platform or format.
Room or
right?
whatever.
Yeah. So I would say that's a hack. Now, in what kind of form it comes? I would say it comes in different forms. Comedians can use different instruments for hacking, right?
Well, in a way, I guess that's where the word to hack comes in, like a life hack or to hack a computer program, something like that. I guess you are hacking the audience to get that laugh, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, you're skipping the work to get the result you want. You are hacking. You are breaking the mold in a way, but not like in a good way. I mean, not in a way that
this is the thing. Like, some people would say, well, isn't that what you're trying to do? You're trying to get everyone to laugh, so who cares how you do it? Just hack away and you make everyone feel great and walk out of the room going, I laughed for 20 minutes straight. That was brilliant.
Well, that is the question, because if we again use the analogy of video games, is the joy in winning or is the joy in playing? You know, if I play a game and I reach the boss and I should level up to get to be that boss, I should, I don't know, find the right weapons, find the right, I don't know, equipment and so on, fight smaller battles to upgrade my level, etc. But if I just reach this boss and I know it's weak to fire and I just use one fire spell and beat it, is it worth beating this boss? You know what I mean? So that's the real question. I understand that the point, and I keep repeating this, the point of a comedian and the point of a stand-up show is to make people laugh, to make people feel entertained, and to make them leave this place and go home happier than they were. No question about it. But I think it's not only about getting there, it's also about how you get there, in my opinion. As maybe it's my insight into the art of comedy, since I see it as a comic as well. You know, maybe for the audience it doesn't really matter.
They don't care. There's like, as long as me laugh, me happy.
I pay, I laugh, I happy.
Okay, so now what we have just done is accents. Can accents be hacky?
Well, I mean, I would say that they can, but...
Because I think we were just a little bit hacky.
Yeah, but we're not doing this podcast to make people laugh. We're doing this podcast to have a platform to speak our mind.
Opinions.
Opinions, news, and ideas. So, yeah, I would say that accents are hacky. Well, there's a really good definition of doing accents on stage by Phil Wang.
Philly Wang Wang. The Wang Man.
The Wang Man himself, who just released a new special on Netflix maybe a month ago.
Damn, I still gotta watch that.
And he describes it in a really funny but also correct way, that if you do an accent properly, that's fine. If you do an accent and it's doesn't sound right, so you're not good at doing that accent, then it's not fine. Basically, because doing an accent properly means that you've acquired a new skill, you've practiced, you've trained. It's like a good actor will perform a different character, different person well. A bad actor will do it poorly, right? So if you do the accent poorly, then it's a mistake and don't do it, because it's also like racist, it's also hacky, and so on. If you do it well, so I don't know, if I could do a really good Puerto Rican accent, right? Yeah. That's, I mean, and I do a Puerto Rican character on stage with this accent. That's fair. Right, I've learned this. I practiced
brilliant.
This.
I'd be impressed. I would be impressed. You can do Puerto Rican. I'd be like, holy shit.
I mean, I'm struggling with English accents. So if I could manage to add another accent to my repertoire,
and good this time,
and a good one, I would consider that a success. Yeah. So I think in that regard, he's very much right, because I think doing an accent properly is one thing, but butchering an accent. We have here in Moscow a lot of comics that basically we perform in English, right? But then when they tell a story that, or when they how would you say that, channel a Russian character, they would speak English with a Russian accent, right, to show that this was a Russian person speaking. But first of all, they use that kind of 70s James Bond Russian accent, which no one really has in real life. Maybe like 1 out of 1,000 Russians, when they speak English, they have that actual accent, like the fake Hollywood Russian accent. And second of all, even that accent they butcher. Yeah, it just sounds like, yes, and my Russian neighbor then told me, yes, if you go to shop, you take... They sound like Borat.
But say, that is not Bond villain. If Bond villain speak, I don't think Bond could take him seriously. Bond would be like, excuse me, I'm just leaving this fucking place. You're a fucking joke.
Basically, if they want to sound like a Russian person, a Russian character, impersonation of why not just say
I was trying to do Sean
or
Connery,
if
by
you
the
want
way.
to do
That
the
was meant to
accent,
be Sean
then
Connery.
practice that accent.
that wasn't a
and do
bad
it
impersonation of
properly.
Borat that you were doing.
That's the
saying.
whole point.
No, me.
But,
Mine was
okay,
doing Sean
besides
Connery.
that,
I'm saying I'm
what
also
else-
doing
what else
accent.
do
I know what you were
consider a
doing,
hack? But I'm saying, like,
Okay,
basically,
what
if
else
they
can
want to
be a
introduce a
hack?
Russian person,
I
a
don't know,
Russian
well, this is what I want to
character,
discuss with you.
why not
Can a
just say
certain
that?
style of
Or
joke
if you
be
want
a
to do
hack?
the
Because
accent,
this is
then
what also
practice
got
that
me
accent
thinking
and
about
do it
this sort of
properly. That's the
topic
whole. That's the whole
that
point.
one
But,
night my wife
okay,
and I were at
besides
the comedy
accents,
club,
what else
right?
would you
We
consider
were
a
watching. I
hack?
can't remember if I was performing.
Okay,
or not,
what
but
else can be a
There's
hack?
one of our
I
comedians.
don't know,
He
this
has
is
certain
what I want to
jokes,
discuss
very
with
popular.
you.
It's very
Can a
funny.
certain
I laugh
style of
every
joke
time I hear it.
be a hack? Because
But
this is what also
it is
got
a very
me
kind of
thinking
typical
about
sort of
this sort of
joke.
topic.
And then
was
he did
that
the
one night
same
my wife and I were
exact
at the
same
comedy
structured
club,
joke.
right? We were
Twice
watching. I
in
can't remember if I
one
was
set. He then
performing
came
or
up with
not.
the second
But
one that used the
there's
exact same
one of our
structure.
comedians. He has a certain joke.
And
very
the second
popular,
half, of course,
very
I
funny.
think
I
it's
laughed
about every time I
a
hear
third
it.
of the laugh at best.
But
because
it is a very kind of
the exact
typical
same
sort of
script,
joke.
so obvious.
And then
it was really funny because on
the
this
same
one
exact
night,
same structure.
two other comedians used the
twice
exact same
in one
structure.
set. He then
as
came up with
well.
the second one that used the
And it
exact
was-
same
it's
structure.
It's the comparative
And the
structure.
second half, of course, I
It's
think it's
the joke
about
where
a
basically,
third of
let's
the
say
laugh
you
at
have
best.
because
Justin
it's
Bieber
already
and
it's
Mother
like the exact
Teresa.
same
So you're gonna
script,
talk
so
about the
obvious.
character of Justin
And then
Bieber.
it was really funny
Oh,
because
yeah,
on
Justin
one
Bieber and
night,
Mother Teresa.
two
One of
other
these
comedians
people
used the
is an
exact same
egomaniacal
structure as
person
well.
who just craves
and
attention
it was
and
it's
was
the comparative
a camera-hungry
structure.
whore.
It's the
The
joke
other
where
one
basically
is
let's say you
Justin
have
Bieber.
Justin Bieber
I
and
see.
Mother
That
Teresa.
one,
So you're going to talk
yeah,
about the character.
yeah.
of
And so you
Justin
take two
Bieber.
comparisons and
Oh
you
yeah,
do
Justin
the
Bieber
switch
and
the one
Mother
you
Teresa.
expect.
And
One
in
of
that
these
case,
people
that one's
is
not a
an
bad one. It is a
egomaniacal
little bit on the
person
clever
who
side.
just
because
craves
Mother
attention
Teresa did
and
come under
was
some
a
criticism.
camera-hungry
Has in the
whore.
past. Not
The
saying
other
it's
one
right or wrong,
is Justin
but has come under
Bieber.
criticism of the way
I
that
see.
she
That
Yeah.
one,
ran her
yeah,
one.
charity
yeah.
and
And so you
things
take
like
two
that, that she was
comparisons
kind
and
of-
you do the
There were
switch
better
the one
ways
you
to do it,
expect.
but
And
she
in that
refused
case,
it
that
apparently
one's not a
because
bad
she
one. It
wanted
is
the
a little bit
attention
on
or
the
something
clever
that was
side
better
because
for her
Mother Teresa
rather
did
than the
come under
people,
some
so
criticism.
there's
Has
in the
so you can
past.
do
Not
it in a
saying it's
clever
right
way,
or wrong,
but has come under
still kinda
criticism of
hacky.
the
I mean, it's the
way
same
that
joke.
she
I
ran her
think,
sort
yeah,
of
when we talk
charity
about
and things like
formats
that,
of
that she was
jokes, it's
kind of
similar to.
There were
I
better
would
ways to
say,
do it, but she
the-
refused it
the
apparently
rule of
because she
three.
wanted the attention
Another
or something
kind
that
of
was better
well,
for her,
common and
rather than the
well-used
people. So
format of a
there's-
joke.
So you could do it in a
What
clever way.
setup,
but
setup,
still
punchline.
kinda
Basically,
hacky. I mean,
setup,
it's the same
setup, twist.
joke.
I
right?
think, yeah,
Yeah.
when we talk about there is formats this of jokes, actually it's very similar common to,
kind of a
I
pop
would
joke
say,
or whatever.
they say
The
that
rule of three.
one in every another kind of
people is
well,
Chinese.
a common and well-used
like
format.
one
of
in
a
every
joke.
5 people in the world is
What
Chinese.
setup,
Right.
setup,
So
punchline.
we have 5
Basically,
people in
setup,
our
setup,
family,
twist. And I don't know who is
Yeah.
so my brother John.
There is this
or my
actually
sister
very common
Jenny,
kind of a
or
pop
my
joke
brother
or
Cho
whatever.
Peng. They say that
Right.
one in
So
every
it's that one.
five
It's like
people
1,
is
2,
Chinese,
3,
right?
Okay, I get it, but
You
the
know,
thing is,
like
the punchline
one
is
in every
totally up to
5
you.
people
The
in the world
premise
is
you create
Chinese.
is completely up to you.
So
Here,
we have 5 people
the
in
punchline
our
is already
family,
given
and
to
I
you.
don't know
It's
who
you
is
take
it. Is
A,
it my brother
you take
John or my
B,
sister
and
Jenny
you
or my brother Cho
seem like you're
Peng?
describing B,
Right.
but
So
you
it's that one. It's
actually-
like one
Well, no, you
describing,
sound like you're
right?
describing Okay, I A, get it, but you the thing is, actually the say punchline it's is totally B. up to you. I mean, The that premise you is create just completely up to you.
It's just the
Here,
obvious. It's
the
just like
punchline
there's
is
not even
already
a-
given to you.
you don't
It's
even
take
require to
A,
think of
you
the punchline.
take
The punchline is
B,
literally given to you.
and
Rule of
you
three, you still have to
seem
correct
like you're
punchline.
describing
You
B,
still have to
but
correct
you
which structures, 'cause
actually
it doesn't have to
oh no, you
describe
sound like you're
construct,
describing
it can be
A,
any
but you
kind.
actually say it's B.
I would say that
I mean,
those
that
jokes
is
are
just
hacky if
it's
you
just the
build
obvious.
your
It's just
whole
like there's not even
material
a
or
you don't
set
even
around
required to think of
those kind of
punchlines
jokes. It's
literally
if you
given to
overuse
Rule
it,
of three, you
right?
still have to
Because
correct
I think
punchline.
any
you still
format
have to correct
becomes
which
tired
structures
if you
because it doesn't have to be
overuse it.
that kind of
I think in that
structure, it
case
can be
that you
any
just
kind. So,
described,
I would
because
say
and I remember
that
that
those
show as
jokes
well.
are hacky
They were
if
at
you
least two
build your
comics.
whole
One had
material
two
or
jokes,
set
and
around
the other one had
those
one
kind of
joke.
jokes.
It's
Without
if you
exact
overuse
structure.
it,
Yeah,
right?
exact
Because I
format.
think
And then
any
you hear it the
format
first time
becomes
and it
tired if
catches
catches you by
overuse
surprise,
it.
and that's
Yeah.
the whole
I think
gist
that
of
case that you
stand-up.
just
The idea
described,
is to
because
set
I
up an
remember that show
expectation,
as well.
then twist that
There were
expectation,
at
right?
least two
And that's
comics.
how it works.
One
so
had
first
two
time they
jokes,
got you,
Yeah.
and
second
the other
time
one
they're
had
like
one joke
comparing
without
two
exact
things
structure,
that are
Yeah.
without exact
uncomparable
format
or whatever,
and then you
you
see
see
that
that
they're
they're
leading
leading
you down the path
and it
of
catches
It's
you
the
by
same
surprise.
path.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the
whole
I know
gist
how this
of
goes.
stand-up.
You're
The
gonna
idea is
tell
to-
me
you're
A to
describing
B.
expectation,
You're describing
twist
A,
that expectation,
mhm,
right?
it's probably
And
gonna
that's how
end
it
up being
works.
B,
So first
right?
time they got
But then
you.
when
Second
another
time they're
comedian
like
already prepared their
comparing two
material and
things
they
that
have
are
that same joke in them and
uncomparable
they
or
come
whatever.
right
You see that
after
they're
this
leading you down the
comedian.
path of
Then it's
The
oh,
same path.
unfortunately,
Yeah,
but
I know how this
I
goes.
would say that
You're gonna
yeah, I
tell
wouldn't
me
say
you're
it's
describing
necessarily
you're
a hack,
describing A,
but it's definitely
it's probably going to end up being
format
B, right?
that is
But
by
then
now
when another
tired and
comedian already
overused.
prepared
Yes,
their
this is
material
what
and
I'm
they have
wondering.
that
What's
same
the
joke
difference
in them
between
and they
hack
come
and
right
overuse?
after
Because
this
in that case- and
comedian,
then I remember
then
I
it's
saw,
just
actually,
unfortunate. But
Jimmy Carr
I
use
would
it on
say
the series
that
of The
yeah, I
Fix
wouldn't say
in
it's
his
necessarily a hack,
introducing
but it's
monologue.
definitely
And usually
a
introduction monologues you do
format that
expect
is
like certain
by now
formats to pop
tired
up. I mean,
and overused.
If you're a comedian,
Yes,
you
this
want
is
to
what
know
I'm
how
wondering.
do you
What's the
write
difference
jokes.
between hack and
Watch
like
a lot of these
overused
monologues.
in that case,
people
and then
do
I
at the beginning
remember
of
I
shows,
saw
like
actually
pre-shows or
Jimmy
things like
Carr
that.
use it on the
One
series of The
comedian
Fix
presenter or
in
like
his
a late
introduction
about
talk show.
introducing
Because you'll
monologue.
notice, because they're
And usually
limited for
introduction
time, they
monologues,
use
you do
very
expect like certain
basic
formats to
joke
pop up.
structures a lot of times.
If you're a
They use the
comedian
same
and you want
premise
to know
over
how
and
do you
over
write
again,
jokes,
or they use the
watch a
same,
lot of these monologues that people do at the beginning of
But,
shows.
yeah, so
like quiz shows or things like
and
that.
he used
one
it. I remember
comedian presenter or like
my
a
wife
late
and I
night
did-
talk show.
I think it was
Because
literally
you
the
notice,
day
because they're
after
limited for
we
time.
had
They
seen
use
this
very
show
basic
where
joke
three-
structures a lot
three
of times.
comedians
They
had
use
done
the
like
same
4
premise
jokes
over
or
and
something
over
like that.
again.
And then
or
we
they
saw
use the
this.
same-
The next day we're like, oh my
Yes,
god, is
format.
everyone doing
But,
this damn
yeah, so-
joke?
Well, I know
and
that,
he
for
used it.
example,
I remember
especially Jimmy Carr
my
for his
wife
little
and I, 'cause
introductions.
I think it was
of
literally
other
the
guests
day
at
after
those kind
we
of
had
panel
seen
shows
this
and stuff.
show.
He writes
where
very often
three
that
comedians
little
had done
twist.
like
So
4
it's
jokes or
just
something
kind
like
of.
that. And then we saw
Today,
this. The next
our
day we're like,
guest
oh
is
my
David
god,
Nunes. David
is
Nunes
everyone
is
doing
from
the same
Spain.
damn joke?
Poor, well, I know
hot,
that, for example,
and extremely
especially Jimmy Carr
angry.
for his little
David
introductions
Nunes is
of
blah, blah.
other
So
guests.
you have an
at
idea that I'm
those
talking
kind of
about
panel
Spain,
shows
but
and
I'm
stuff.
actually talking
He
about
writes
you.
very often.
And that's a
that
very
little
common,
twist.
like, yeah,
So it's
little
just kind
introduction.
of. Today,
Kind of,
our guest is David
sentence or
Nunes.
whatever
David Nunes is
to-
from
to
Spain.
make a little joke
Poor,
about, yeah, but
hot,
and
extremely
if you have like 6
angry.
guests on a show
David
and you
Nunes
introduce
is
each
blah,
one,
blah.
so you have
The
an
same
idea that I'm
structure,
talking
you
about
get
Spain,
tired
but I'm
of it.
actually
Yeah.
talking
So
about
that's
you.
I think
And that's a
I
very
wouldn't say it's
common,
a
I
hack.
think,
I would say if
introduction
you have one of
kind
those
of,
jokes in your set,
sentence
and you're
or
the
whatever
only one who
to-
has that joke
to
in
make
your
a little
set,
joke
then
about-
you're fine.
yeah, but
if sadly
but
there are
if you
6
have
people
like
at the
6
show
guests
and
on
6
the show
people
and you
have a joke
introduce
that's
each
written in
one
that exactly
with the same
way,
structure, it's
then
gonna
get tired
it's just
again.
unfortunate.
That's
And yeah,
I
it's
think
repetitive.
I wouldn't say it's a hack.
It's I would
tired,
say if you have one
but
of those jokes in
don't
your
think
set,
it's necessarily
and
a hack
you're the
because
only one who
even
has that
those
joke,
jokes
they
in
don't
your
have
set,
100%
then you're
hit
fine.
rate.
If sadly
So,
there are
especially
6
now
people
when
at the
it's the
show
third time you've
and
heard
6
it.
people
Yeah,
have a
so
joke
that's why I would
written
say
in
that
that
it's not a
exactly the
hack.
same way.
And if
then
anything, it's quite
just
risky.
unfortunate.
If someone has that
yeah,
same
it's
joke before
repetitive,
you, then you're
it's
fucked.
tired,
Right? Because people are
but
going to know
I
what to
don't
expect.
think it's necessarily a
Right.
hack
I would
because
say that
even those
for
jokes, they
example,
don't have
in my
100%
mind,
hit rate.
something hacky.
So-
Well, especially now when
then
it's the third time you've
that
heard it.
is
Yeah, so that's why I
foreign
would say that
language.
it's not a hack.
For example,
if anything,
I'll give
it's
you an
quite
example.
risky.
If someone has that same joke before you,
Russia,
then you're fucked.
And
right, because
many
people are going to
and
know
we do
what to
stand-up
expect
in English,
right?
right?
I
Which
would
is a
say
novelty
that,
thing
for
on
example,
its
in
own.
my mind,
Right.
but then we have
Something
comics,
hackier
especially foreign
than
comics,
that is
who come
using
and they do
foreign
their
language.
punchlines. For
In
example,
Russian,
I'll give you an
which is
example.
one of two
So
things.
we live in performance in
either
Moscow, Russia.
I mispronounce the word,
many
so
people,
it's
and we
funny.
do stand up
Yeah.
in English,
Foreigner,
right? Which
foreigner
is a
make
novelty
haha
thing
on its
No,
own.
I
But then we
mispronounce the
have
word, so
comics,
it's funny.
You gotta
Especially
do it in
foreign
accent,
comics
Igor.
who come
Foreigner
and they
make
do their
haha.
punch. Oh yeah, of
Very
course, in
good.
Russian.
Yes.
Which is
Now
one
you
of
will
two
die,
things.
Bond. You will
It's
die.
either
Thank you.
I
And the other one
mispronounce
is
the word,
I
so it's funny.
misunderstood two
Yeah.
words that
Foreigner,
sound similar.
foreigner
Uh-huh.
make haha.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
No,
think
both
I
of these
mispronounce
things
the
are-
word, so it's funny.
You gotta do it in an
Most
accent,
obvious
Igor.
and basic
Foreigner
example
make
of what a hack
haha.
is. Oh yeah, of
Very
course,
good.
because
Yes.
you know that
Now
people
you will die,
laugh
Bond. You will
at
die.
a
Thank you.
person
And
from,
the other one
I don't know,
is
another
I
part of the
misunderstood
world,
two words that
from
sound similar.
Philippines,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
pronouncing
So I
a
think
Russian
both of
word
these
in
things
a funny
are
way.
the
Maybe even
most
mispronouncing
obvious
it,
and
so
basic
it sounds
example
like
of what a
another
hack is,
word, which is like a
because
dirty word,
you
or
know
a
that
funny
people
word or
will
something.
laugh,
You know, and you know
at
that's going to
a
get a
person
laugh
from
just
I don't
because
know,
another
it's
part of the
a
world,
word in their
person
own
from
language,
Philippines,
pronounced by a foreign
pronouncing
person.
a Russian
Right,
word
it's just
in a funny
this
way.
kind of gimmick.
Maybe even
But I think
mispronouncing
it's-
it, so it
it's a
sounds
proper
like
hack.
another word,
The other
which is
one
like a
is
dirty word or a
comparing
funny
two
word or
words
something.
that
You know, and you know
sound
that's going to
similar.
get a laugh, and that
Just
only
because
works. I mean,
it's-
it only
it's
works.
a word in
It
their own
works
language
here because people
pronounced
also
by
go
a
like,
foreign person.
Haha,
Right, it's
foreigner
just
funny.
this kind
He's
of gimmick
stupid. He
that
don't
I
know
think
what mean.
it's
You know
it's
what
a
I
proper
just-
hack.
You mix up two
The
words.
other one, is
it's
comparing two
Well, I did
words
it actually at a
that
dinner party.
sound
I didn't-
similar.
I didn't go all
and
the way
that
through it.
only
I
works.
I
I mean,
saw
it
where
only
I was
works.
going with the word,
It
and I
works
stopped
here
myself,
because people
and
also
they're the
go
ones
like,
who actually completed it for me.
foreigner
So
funny.
I
He's
was
stupid.
trying
He
to
don't
say
know what
"Skuchna."
mean. You
Oh,
know
he
what I
just
mean?
means boring. He mixed up two words, and
Yeah.
I went. It's
Yeah.
funny. But I did
And
it
I
at actually at a
stopped
dinner
and
party. Well, I didn't.
no,
I didn't all the way through.
because
I
that
s-
is
I
a
saw
mutt.
where I was going with the
The
word,
end of
and,
it,
I
and
stopped
they all
myself.
went,
And
is
they're
it
the
that
ones
one you're
who
trying to say? I'm
actually
like, no,
completed it
no,
for me.
I'm not trying to
So
say
I
whore or
was
whatever it is.
trying to say
thing. I'm
skuchna,
like, no, I'm not trying to say
which
whore. I'm
means
trying to say
boring.
the other one.
And I went,
not
such.
excited. No,
And then I
right.
stopped and went,
boring. And I, yeah, that's
no,
the word.
no.
boring.
Because that
Yeah.
is
It's like,
a
right,
mutt.
so it's,
I mean,
the end
it
of,
can
and they all
happen.
went,
It's-
is it
I
that
mean,
one
it
you're trying to say?
happened
I'm like,
to me
no,
100
no, I'm not
times.
trying to say
But
whore or whatever it is.
The thing is, if you
thing. I'm like,
intentionally
no, I'm not
look
trying to
for
say whore. I'm
words,
trying to say
or even if it
the
happens,
other
but
one
then you turn it
when,
into a
not
whole
excited.
joke.
Oh,
And I
right.
know some comments
boring.
that had, I don't
Yeah,
know,
that's the one.
5
Boring.
punchlines in there,
Yeah,
15
like,
minute
right, so,
set, and
you know,
all 5 punchlines
it can
are
happen.
just misunderstandings.
real
It
life
happened to me
different
100
words.
times,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of, imagine if
the
the
thing
comic
is, if you
comes to a
intentionally
foreign
look for
comic,
words,
comes to,
or
I
even
don't
if it
know,
happens,
Edinburgh
but then you
Fringe,
turn
or
it into
comes
a
to,
whole
I don't
joke,
know,
and I know
whatever,
some
comments
comments
that had, I don't know,
5
audition
punchlines
for
in there,
America's Got
15
Talent
minute
or
set,
whatever,
and all
and
5
their best
punchlines
punchline
are
just
like,
misunderstandings of
oh,
different words,
yes,
right?
and
And that's
they
kind of,
asked
imagine
me
if a
if
comic
do I
comes
have a
to a
dollar,
foreign
and I
comic,
said, no,
comes
I
to,
only
I don't
have
know,
a
Edinburgh
few
Fringe, or it
penis.
comes to,
Haha,
I
get
don't know,
it,
whatever,
penis,
some kind
because
of
it sounds like penis.
audition for
Yeah.
like
No,
America's
it's
Got
just
Talent or
people will
whatever.
be like, oh,
and their
come on,
best
man,
punchline
really?
is
Come on.
like, but
Oh,
sadly
yes,
in non-native
and
English-speaking
they asked
countries, me if do I
When you
have
do
a
stand-up
dollar, and
in
I
English,
said no,
and
I
then you
only
use
have
such
a few
penis
words that sound
get it,
similar, and
penis,
one is
because
a
it sounds
regular
like
word, and one
penis.
is a funny
Yeah.
word.
Like, it
no,
almost
it's just
always
people will be like,
works.
"Oh, come
I
on!"
see people
man,
really
come
laughing
on.
at that
but
and really enjoying
sadly,
such punchlines.
in non-native
And I think
English
that's a
speaking
proper
countries,
hack.
because
When you do stand up in
you
English,
wrote that
and then
joke
you use
with the
such
attention
kind of
words that
playing
sound similar, and one is
not
a regular word, and
not
one is a
the
funny word.
intention of
It almost
creating
always works.
a
I see
well-structured,
people really
intelligent,
laughing
unique
at that and
joke,
really enjoying
but
such
with the
punchlines.
intention of,
And I think that's a proper
ha-ha,
hack.
make mistake,
Because you wrote that
people
joke
laugh.
with the attention
That's
the
of
point.
playing
Or
exactly.
what about
not,
if someone
not
the
the
part where
intention
I
of
think
creating
well, I guess it
a
is hack, but it's
well-structured,
very
intelligent,
specific
unique
hack
joke,
to hear,
but
like
with the intention
people
of
in New York or,
ha-ha,
or
make
London
mistake,
or any, like English speaking
ha-ha,
country
people
will
laugh.
not have this.
Yeah.
hack.
That's the
but it's
point.
the hack
Yeah.
when the person.
Or
and I've
what
seen it
about,
happen when-
like, if someone
obviously the
comedian
part
makes a
where
joke,
I think
they do it in
it's-
English.
Well, I guess
and
it is
maybe
a
out of
hack, but it's
frustration
very
that it doesn't
very
get the laugh that
specific
they
hack
think it should.
to hear. Like
They
if
will repeat the
people
punchline
in New York
in Russian
or
or
London
something
or
like
any
that.
like
Or they'll-
English-speaking
or they'll
country
make sure that
will
they
not
use
have
the
this
last
hack.
line, the
But
main
it's the hack
hitting
when the
line
person, and I've
in
seen it
the
happen
native
where
language,
obviously
because
they want to
makes
make
the
sure
joke,
that no one
they do it in
misses
English.
it.
And maybe
you
out of
can
frustration
tell
that
when
it
it
doesn't
happens.
get the
I remember
laugh
once
that
we were
they
in,
think
it
it
was during a
should,
competition.
they will repeat the
A comedian
punchline
had a
in
bit
Russian,
which
or
was
something
about
like
this
that.
misunderstanding.
Or they'll
But
make sure that they use
hadn't
the last
explained this
line, the
word
main
in
hitting
English,
line,
and you can
in
tell
the
all
native
the foreigners who
language,
didn't
because
know
they want to
Russian.
make sure that no
Because
one
for the
misses
next
it.
like 3 minutes,
And you
they
can
had the
tell
lost
when they
look
have.
on
Because I remember
their face.
once we
It
were
was so
it was
easy
during
to
a
see
competition
because
a comedian had a
just
bit
kind of
which was
got
about
too
this
far
misunderstanding
without explaining. They
But
missed one
they
crucial
hadn't
point. If they
explained
explained
this
it,
word
then it
in
wouldn't have
English,
been a
and you
hack,
could
but
tell
because they
all
had
the
it,
foreigners who
it
didn't
became
know
kind of
Russian.
hack.
Because for the next like
well,
3 minutes,
here we
they
have a
had
very
the lost
specific
look on their
situation,
face.
and we keep
It was
repeating
so
that
easy to
almost in
see
every
because
episode because
the
it
comedian had
differs
just
so
kind of
much
gone too
from
far
like native speaking
without
countries
explaining. They
or
missed one
people
crucial
doing
point.
just
If they
Russian
explained
stand-up
it,
in
then it
Russia,
wouldn't
right?
have been
But
hack,
I would
but
say
because they
that
had it, it
the
became kind of
issue
hack.
is
what I mean?
not
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
when they are
here we have a very
when
specific
they-
situation,
I mean,
and
this
we
is
keep
another
repeating
issue,
that
and we talked
almost
about it
in
when we
every
talk about
episode
language
because
and comedy,
it
how
differs
some
so
people
much
just
from
like
like
native
English
speaking
stand-up,
countries
but
or
perform
people doing
40%
just
in
Russian
Russian,
stand-up in
and then
Russia,
all the
right?
foreigners who
But
don't
I
speak
would say
Russian are
that
just sitting there feeling stupid because
issue
they
is
can't understand the
not
joke.
maybe
And I
when
think
they
this is
are
also a problem.
but the other
I mean, this
problem
is another
I think
issue, and we
is
talked
also
about it
the
when we
fact
talked about
that
language and
sometimes
comedy.
they do
How
the
some people
punchline,
just
people don't
do
laugh,
English
and then
stand-up,
they
but
translate that
perform
punchline
40%
into
in Russian,
and
and then
get
all
people
the
to laugh.
foreigners who don't
Because
speak Russian are
then
just
again,
sitting there
it's
feeling
just
stupid because
that
they can't
element,
understand the
it's,
joke.
out of
And I think
place.
this is also a
Yeah.
problem.
I've done 3
But the
minute
other
bit
problem
in
I
English
think is
and
also
now
the
I just
fact
repeat
that
same
sometimes they do the
word or
punchline
sentence in
people don't
Russian,
laugh,
and it just
then
feels
they
a bit
translate
out of
that
place, and
punchline
people
into
laugh
Russian
at that.
to
It
get
doesn't
people
matter,
to
maybe
laugh.
even without an
Because
accent,
then
maybe it's a
again
Russian
it's
person.
just
But I think
it's that
yeah,
element
this is a hack,
it's
this is
out
a
of
gimmick,
place
because
I've
you
done
basically
3
what
minute
you
bit
planned on
in
doing
English
didn't work,
and now I
now
just
you're doing
repeat
something
something
that you know will
word
work
or sentence
just
in
by
Russian,
default,
and it just
not
feels
by
a bit
your
out of
work,
place, and
not
people
by
laugh
your
at that.
commitment,
It doesn't matter,
not
maybe
by
even without
your
an accent,
quality
maybe it's a
of
Russian
joke,
person,
but
just
I
by
think, yeah,
default,
this is
just
a
by
hack, this
it
is a
being
gimmick,
what it is,
because you basically
so to go
what you
from
planned
that
on
to
doing
kind of
didn't
jump into
work,
something that I think
and now
that
you're doing something
is
that you
a
know
hack
will work
in any
just
way
by
you go, no
default,
matter the
not
language
by
that
your
you're,
work, not by
the
your
country that you're performing in.
commitment, not by
I
your
think a hack that you
quality
can
of
find
joke,
anywhere
but
is
just by
the
default, just
swearing
by
shock
it being
value
what it
hack.
is.
Okay, so
I know that when we started
jump into
here
something that I
in
think
Russia,
that
it was a
is a
big
hack
thing. That was probably the
in
biggest
anywhere
hack
you
first
go,
off,
no matter the language
because
that
a lot of the
you're,
comedians were
the
native,
country that you're performing in,
speakers.
I
or
think
at
a
least
hack
very
that you
close
can
to
find
it,
anywhere
in some way
is
with
the
regard to
swearing
how they
shock
overseas and
value
things like
hack.
that. So they had no
I
problems.
know that when we started
expressing
here
themselves, but the
in
problem
Russia,
was
it
that
was a
they
big
would use
thing. That was
shock
probably the
value
biggest swear
hack
words,
first
you know,
off.
certain
because a lot of the
topics
comedians were
that maybe
native,
might be considered
speakers,
a bit hack,
or at
What
least
do you
very
think
close
about
to it in some way.
Well,
with
this
regard that
is
they had lived
if you go
overseas
to
and
Russian
things like
stand-up,
that.
for example.
So they had no problems
majority of
expressing
comics,
themselves, but
they
the
use
problem was that they would
swearing
use
and
shock
curse
value
words
swear words
a lot, like
Certain
every second word.
topics
And I
that
think this is a
maybe
hack
might
as
be
well
considered a
because
bit
you're
hack.
basically
What do you think about that?
to an extent you can
Well,
let's
this is
say
if you go to
enhance
Russian
your
stand-up, for
point
example,
or punchline or
majority
highlight some
of
kind
comics,
of
they use
funny word or something,
swearing
if you
and
sandwich
curse words
it
a lot,
you know, between
like
every
two curse
second
words.
word. So if you
And
say
I think this is a hack
this
as well because
fucking
you're basically
car on the fucking road,
to an extent you can
it sounds
say,
heavier than
enhance
this car on
your
the road,
point or
right?
punchline
So
or
if you're
highlight
trying
some
to-
kind of
if you're trying to get a
funny word or
point
something,
across,
if you
and you use
sandwich
that.
it,
But that's
you know,
sometimes what
between
they
two
do.
curse
But
words.
sometimes
So
they
if you
just put
say
swear words in
this
there because
fucking
it's just
car on
swear
the fucking
words
road.
always sound funny.
It sounds
especially
heavier
if
than
you're swearing
this
in
car
a
on the road.
fancy
Right?
kind of
So
club
if
or
you're
restaurant,
trying to-
you know,
if you're
where
trying to
people
get
are-
a
it's just
point
anything
across,
out of
and
place
you
is
use
always
that.
funny.
But that's
Yeah.
sometimes
So
what they
again,
do.
if it's an
but sometimes
instrument
they
to
just
get
put
the
swear
swear
words
words
in
cheap
there
laugh,
because
then I think
just
it's a hack.
swear
And if
words
you repeat
always
it and
sound
overuse
funny,
it,
especially if
compensate
you're
for the
swearing
lack of
in a
tags or
fancy
punchlines
kind
or
of club
jokes
or
overall,
restaurant.
then
you
it's
know, where
definitely
people
a
are.
hack.
It's just
Yeah, because I remember in
anything
the
out of
beginning,
place
it was
is
like,
always funny.
anytime Yeah. you
Right?
mentioned,
So
like,
again,
penis,
if it's
dick,
an
cock, or anything
instrument
like
to
that,
get the
I
guaranteed
remember you used to
cheap
get a big
laugh,
laugh,
then I think it's a
when we
hack.
first were
And if you
performing,
repeat
like,
it and
most times-
overuse it,
my penis
to
still gets
compensate
laugh.
for the lack of tags or punchlines
good
or
to hear, good to
jokes
hear, buddy.
overall,
Quite proportional.
it's
That's what
definitely a
Mum
hack.
said too. Yeah, Yeah, she because said I remember it's in the still beginning it was
Sorry,
like,
Mum.
yeah, anytime that you mentioned like
Wait,
penis,
what?
dick,
You have to
cock, or
explain
anything
this
like
one.
that.
So-
I remember you used to get a big laugh.
So you're trying to say
when we
that my
first
penis
were
is funny,
performing,
but
like,
but
most
my
of the-
penis, my penis still
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
laugh.
yeah.
So in your
Yeah,
burn
it's good to hear.
of
She's
me,
doing well.
quite
That's-
proportional.
yeah, that's
in your,
why you're not so
in
well.
your
She said
burn
it's
of
funny.
me,
sorry,
I
Mum.
fucked your mom. That's what you're
Wait,
trying
wait,
to
what?
say.
You have to
I'm trying
explain
to
this
twist
one.
the hack.
So-
see? Well, it's hacky,
So you're trying
and now
to say
twisting
that
it
my
to
penis
the
is funny,
unhacky.
but your mom said that.
Yeah.
So
And I
so
said,
in
hey,
your
good for
in
Mum.
your
How old
burn
are you?
of me,
She's doing well.
33.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you're not so well.
in your burn of me.
How old is she?
I fucked your
forgot to
mom.
ask.
That's what you're trying to say.
I'm trying to twist the hack.
She's
see?
74.
Well, it's hacky,
Well,
and
she
now
looks
twisting it to
not a
be
day older than
unhacky.
65. I mean, it
I'll
works.
pass that on. And I say, hey, good for my mum. How old are you? To get back on
33.
board. Yeah, because for
She's
a lot of
doing great.
Russians, because at
How
the
old is
time
she?
we also were getting.
I
a lot of
forgot to
people
ask.
Fairly new in
74,
English,
I think,
and we still do sometimes.
She's 74.
And hearing the swear was like
Well,
a
she
bit.
looks
"Woo,
not a day older than 65.
I'll pass that on. She'll be very pleased.
masturbation tits.
But to get back on board, and you know,
Because
it was
for a
just
lot of
like
Russians,
because at the time we also were getting a lot of people
story
who
is really
barely
crappy,
knew any
like,
English, and
and
we still
they
do
don't have a
sometimes.
coherent
And
thought, so
hearing
like
the
me
swear
at the
was like a
moment.
bit.
Well, I would say that, yeah,
he
it
said
can
penis.
work
Oh,
to an
oh,
extent.
masturbation
But
tits.
at the
oh,
same time, you
tits.
might actually
And,
lose
you know,
a
it
big
was
part
just
of
like,
the audience with that because,
Yeah.
The story
again,
is
there
really
is
crappy,
also
like,
quite
and they don't
common
have a
here
coherent
at our
thought,
shows
like
that
me
you
at the
would have
moment.
people
Well,
who
I
consider
would
those
say
kind of
that,
things
yeah,
really taboo. So you
it
would
can
have half of the
work
room giggling
to
and
an
laughing
extent.
because ha ha.
But
funny,
at the same time,
taboo
you
word,
might actually
but half
lose
of the
a big
room
part of the
really
audience
kind
with
of
that because
crossing their
Yeah.
arms.
again,
and being,
there is
I
also
don't wanna
quite
hear about penises
common
on Friday
here at
evening.
our shows
That's
that
a
you will
no-no
have
word for
people
me.
who consider
Or like
those
a
kind of
known
things
topic,
really
you know,
taboo. So you will have half of the room
masturbation,
giggling and
vaginas,
laughing because
whatever,
ha ha,
Jesus.
funny,
That's a no-no
taboo
for
word.
me, you know.
But half of the
So
room
it's
really
it's
kind of
it can work.
crossing
It's a
their
risk.
arms and being.
But if you're doing, if
I
you're
don't wanna
mentioning
hear about
those words
penises on
and putting
Friday
them into
evening,
your set,
that's a no-no
just
word for
because
me.
you
Or
expect
like a no-no topic,
that they
you know,
will get
masturbation,
a laugh, not because the
vaginas,
joke is
porn,
actually funny,
whatever,
but because
Jesus,
your
that's a
punchline
no-no for
isn't,
me,
and then
you know.
you've added
So
a swear
it's
word
kind of
to
it can
punch
work.
it
It's
up.
a risk.
Then
But
I
if
think,
you're
yeah,
doing,
it's
if you're
a hack.
mentioning those
Okay.
words
So
and putting
is there
them into your
anything
set
else,
just
that you
because
would
you
like to-
expect
like any other
that they will
hacks?
get a laugh,
I
not
think
because the joke is
another
actually funny,
one that I've
but because
noticed
your
is
punchline
using just
isn't,
a
and then
well-known
you've added
common
a
premise.
swear word
Ooh,
to
okay.
So
punch
the
it up.
punchline might be
Then
yours,
I think
the punchline
it's
might be
a
new,
hack.
but
Okay.
using
So
some
is there
kind of
anything else
well-known
that you would like
joke
to, like
that
any
works
other
as
hacks?
a pop joke
I
or
think
something like this
another
as well. But
one
then
that I've
maybe a
noticed
little bit like
is
rewriting
using
just
just
so it
a
fits your set or
well-known
your
common
material.
premise.
I would say this is
okay.
also
So the
hacky
punchline
because
might
you know
be
that
yours,
people
the
are going to
punchline
laugh
might
at
be
it.
new, but
anyways,
using
and
some kind of
only if you use it in a smart,
joke
intelligent, unique
that
way,
works as
I
a
think it's
pop joke or
genius.
something
If you
like
turn
this
the
as well,
hack
Yeah.
into
but then maybe
an
a little
actual,
bit like
an
rewriting
actual
it so
joke.
it fits
And I'll
your
give you an
set or your
example.
material.
There is
I would
this
say this
joke
is also
by
hacky because you
Milton
know that
Jones,
people are going to laugh
who
at
is
it
a British
anyways.
one-liner comedian, and he does
only
a bunch
if
of
you
those,
use it
like
in
Mock
a
the Week and
smart,
panel
intelligent,
shows.
unique
He
way,
also does
I
Live
think
at the
it's
Apollo and
genius.
this kind
If
of
you
shows.
turn the hack
And he
Yeah.
does
into
regularly
an
well
actual,
in the normal world.
an
He
actual
did
joke,
the
and I'll
Melbourne
give you an example.
International Comedy Festival.
There is this joke
and he
by
had this
Milton
joke that I
Jones,
firstly,
who is a British
I heard it for the
one-liner
first
comedian,
time,
and he
I
does a
think
bunch of
during the
those,
Live
like
at
Mock
the
the
Apollo
Week
bit
and
or
panel
something like
shows.
that.
He also
Like
does
this,
Live
where
at the
he says
Apollo
that
and
he
this kind
kind of
traveled
shows,
to
and
Ireland,
he does
I guess, to
regularly
Dublin
well
or
in
whatever,
the normal world. He
and
did
the
blah, blah, blah,
Melbourne
something,
International Comedy
and then
Festival.
he goes,
Yeah,
he
aren't
had
those
this
Irish
joke that I
people
firstly
lame or whatever,
I've heard
something
it
like
for the
this.
first
They
time.
all
I
laugh
think
because
during
it's
the live
London,
at the Apollo
and,
bit or
Irish
something like
are
that.
the butt of the
Like
joke.
this,
Where
always
he says that
and then
he
he
traveled
goes,
to
guess who I
Ireland
used as an
I guess,
example,
to
Dublin or
Dublin.
whatever.
Yeah.
Meaning that
And
when he was
blah,
in
blah, blah,
Dublin, he
something.
said, "Ha,
And then he
aren't
goes,
British people,
yeah,
blah, blah,
aren't those
yeah.
Irish
And then he
people
did the Melbourne
lame
Comedy
or whatever,
Festival,
something
and
like
did
this.
exactly the
They
same
all
thing.
laugh
He did
because
because
it's London
used,
and
you
New
know,
Zealanders
Irish
are the
Kiwis
butt of the
as
joke always.
funny ones,
And then
as
he
the butt
goes,
of the joke.
guess who
And
I
then he
used
said,
as an
"Ha, guess
example
when
in
I did
Dublin?"
last week when I did
Meaning
show
that
in
when he
Auckland,
was in Dublin,
guess who
he said,
was
"Ha, aren't
the
British
example?"
people,
Blah,
which,
blah.
which I think
Yeah.
is
And then
a
he did the
brilliant
Melbourne
twist
Comedy
on that
Festival,
well-known
and did exactly
and
the same
tired
thing. He
format
did the
of a
joke
Well,
and used
exactly,
New
because
Zealanders,
what he's done is
Kiwis,
he's
as
taken
the
a hack
funny
and
ones, as the
he's
butt of the joke.
using that
And then he
hack
said, guess what
to
I
make
did
an
last
actual
week when I did the show in
intelligent
Auckland?
point
Guess
and
who
pointing
was
out just how
the
hack it is. So in
example?
a way,
which
he's
I
kind
think
of
is
making
a
fun of
brilliant
people
twist
for
on that
laughing at it in the
well-known
first
and
place and
tired
saying,
format of a joke.
It's such
Well,
an
exactly,
easy hack
because
that you
what
can
he's
switch
done
it either
is
way.
he's taken that
So
hack
by laughing
and
at them,
he's
really, you're kind of
using
laughing
that
at yourself
hack
because
to make an
you have
actual
to take
intelligent
Yeah,
point.
because I used it on you
and
as
pointing
well.
at just
Yeah,
how bad
exactly.
it is. So in
I
a
think,
way,
and
he's
in
kind of
all,
making
I've
fun of
seen him
people
do it
for
3 times
laughing
in
at
different
it
countries,
in the first place.
and that
and
first
saying,
thing would get a laugh.
It's such an easy hack
But
that
I
you can
think it would
switch
get
it
that
either
kind
way.
of like,
So by laughing at them,
but
really,
I've
you're kind
heard
of
it.
laughing at
Yeah.
yourself because
But then this
you
little
have to
twist
take
that,
laughing at it.
because I
would
used
get
it
a
on you as
proper
well.
laugh.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
the laugh.
I
And
think
then
he-
in all
laughs
I've
at their
seen
laugh.
him do it
Yes,
3 times in
exactly,
different
yeah.
countries. So and that
but
first
I
thing
think
would get a
using
laugh,
some kind of common
but
premise,
I think it would get
and
that
then
kind
just
of like
rewriting the jokes
but
so
I've
it
heard
fits
it,
your
laugh.
set.
But then this
I would
little
say this
twist
is a
that
hack
he added
because,
would
you
get
know,
a
there is
proper laugh
always
because people laugh
in every
and then
country
there is
laughs
some
at
kind
their
of
laugh.
nation.
Yes,
That's the
exactly,
point.
yeah.
So
that historically
I
had
think
some,
using
I
some
don't
kind
know,
of common premise,
rivalry,
and then just rewriting
war,
the
whatever,
jokes so
whatever.
it
Yeah,
fits
something
your
that, you know,
set.
in
I would
Portugal
say
it's
this is a hack
Spanish, in
because
Spain it's
you know there is
Portuguese.
always
In Germany
in
it's
every
Austrians,
country
in Austria
there
it's
is some
Germans,
kind of
in
nation,
Russia it's
neighboring
Ukrainians,
country
in
usually
Ukraine it's
that
Russians.
historically had
In
some
England it's
I don't know
Irish,
rivalry,
etc.
rivalry,
war,
Canadians,
whatever.
Americans.
war,
So
whatever.
there is
Yeah,
always
something that
so
you
just
know in
using
Portugal
that,
it's
I
Spanish,
think,
in
and
Spain
then
it's Portuguese,
just being like,
in
yeah,
Germany
let's
it's
look, I came
Austrians,
from
in
Canada.
Austria it's
Aren't
Germans,
they polite?
in Russia it's
And they
Ukrainians,
told
in
me
Ukraine it's
sorry.
Russians,
Oh,
in
great.
England it's
You know what I mean?
Irish,
So just
etc.
using
etc.
a
Right?
well-known
Canadians,
common
Americans.
premise that's
So
been
there is always
chewed up
so
and
just
spit out
using
a million
that
times on
I think,
every
and
like
then
meme
just
page,
being like
Reddit,
yeah last week I
on,
came from
I
Canada,
don't know,
aren't
Arnold
they
shows, on
polite?
YouTube shows, on
And they
stand-up,
told
in
me
pubs.
sorry.
So stuff like this.
great.
I would
All
say
right.
it's
You know
also
what I
hacky.
mean?
All
So
right.
just
Yeah,
using
it is.
a
I mean, and
well-known
I can
common premise
fully
that's
admit
been
that I've used
chewed
that to my
up
advantage in
and
a
spit
way.
out
When I
a
first
million
started
times on
my story
every
about
like
the
meme
kangaroo
page,
and
Reddit,
finding the
on
kangaroo and
I
stuff
don't know
like that.
panel
So,
shows on
you know,
YouTube shows, on
that's-
stand-up,
and even
and
then,
pubs.
I kind of
So
when I
stuff
remember
like
I was
this,
telling,
I would
for
say
me
it's
that
also
was
hacky.
originally just
All right,
started as
so-
a
yeah, it is. I mean,
story
and
I
can
that used to
fully
tell at
admit that
parties
I've
for the
used
sake
that
of
to
it
my
was
advantage
funny
in a way. Like when I first started, my story about the kangaroo, and there you go, he's fighting the kangaroo and stuff. And then I started using it on stage. But I remember for a while that I stopped
and even then,
using it
like
for a long
I kind
time
of
for
when
a
I
few
remember what I
years
was
because
telling,
I
like
was
for
just
me
like,
that was
I do
originally just
not
started as
wanna say
a
anything
story
about it,
because
that I
it
used
does
to tell at
feel
parties for
hacky
the
and
sake of
sometimes
it,
it's
just
just
funny.
funny.
You know, it was a
I'm
funny
leaning
little
too
story.
much into
People
that.
always ask
But
questions.
a good thing is, like you said, if you know how to do it well, though, you can.
And then I started
break
using it on
certain
stage. But I remember for a
Like,
while
for
that I
example, I
stopped
remember
using it
hearing
for a
about
long
Chris
time,
Rock,
for a
like, a
few
lot of the
years, because I was just like, I do
when they
not
said, oh,
wanna
when he
say
broke
anything
out in the
about
scene,
it.
started becoming
Because
big.
it does
In the beginning,
feel
they were like,
hacky,
oh,
and sometimes you
he's
just
doing
like,
hacky
I'm
material.
leaning too much into that.
relationship.
But a good thing is, like you said, if you know how to do it well, he's a guy doing. You can
then
break
they said
certain
when they listen to
expectations.
another, oh my god,
Like for example, I remember hearing about Chris Rock,
putting
like a lot
twists
of
in there. He's coming
comedians
with new
when
ways of
they
examples
said,
and
oh, when
stuff
he
like
broke
that.
out in the scene, it
They
started
said
becoming
that
big.
it
In
was
the
actually
beginning, they were
very
like,
good.
oh,
He took
he's doing
what
hacky
was a
material,
hack topic,
relationships,
and
men,
then
women,
kind of
women,
made it.
and they thought, ah, he's a guy doing.
like
And then they said
revitalized
when
it,
they listen to
renewed
another,
it.
oh my god, he's actually
Yeah,
doing it
I
really
think
well.
if
Like,
you do
he's
that,
putting
if you
twists in
use
there,
some
he's
kind
coming
of
with new ways of
stereotypes, if you
examples
use
and stuff
common
like that. So
jokes
they
and stuff
said that
like
he was actually
I don't know,
very good. Like he took
gender
what was a hack
stereotypes,
topic,
like I don't know,
and
women
then
can't draw,
kind of made it his
whatever,
own
something like this,
in a way, like
you know,
revitalized it,
or
renewed
Asian
it.
people can draw.
Sort of
Yeah,
thing.
that's
That's
kind
think
of two
if you
common
do
ones,
that- if you
right?
use some
or
kind of
something like I
stereotypes,
don't know,
This is
use
driving.
common
Come on, get over it,
jokes
just
and
use the
stuff
metro.
like
Well, yeah,
I don't know,
blonde women are dumb.
gender,
You know what I mean?
stereotypes
Like,
like
Canadians
I don't
are
know, women
polite.
can't draw,
Yeah.
whatever,
like
something
any
like
kind of
this.
Asians
you
have
know,
small penises.
or Asian people can
black
draw.
people have big
That's kind of
penises.
two common
Yeah.
ones.
Any
right?
kind of, you know,
or
if you
something
use it
like
in
I
a
don't
This is
know,
smart
driving.
way,
Yeah.
Come on,
it's
get over it.
fine,
Just use
but
the
if you
metro.
just play
Well,
on
yeah,
that
blonde
tired old
women are dumb.
stereotype,
You know what I mean?
you
Like,
can.
that's
Canadians
why
are polite.
There's a difference between
Whatever,
a hack
like
any
and,
kind of Asians
difference
have
between a
small
hack
penises.
and a well-written joke. I would
Black
say
people have big
is
penises.
that amount
Any
of
kind
risk.
of, you know,
And
if
that's
you
why,
use it in a smart
as I said,
way,
if you are hitting,
it's fine. But if you just
100%
play
of
on
the
that
target,
tired
if you
old
get every person
stereotype,
in the room
but
laughing,
yeah,
you're not taking a risk.
That's why there's a
right?
difference between a hack
because I think,
and,
for example,
difference between a hack
there is
and
this
a well-written
character,
joke. I would
Marcel
say
Lupin,
is that
who is
amount of risk.
It's actually
that's
a British
why,
comedian.
As I said,
he's
if
playing
you
the
are
character
hitting
of a
100%
Frenchman,
of the target,
and he's
if you get
playing
every
it,
person
he's
in the room
overplaying.
laughing, you're not
He
taking
shows
a
up on
risk.
stage with
right?
a glass of wine.
Because I think
without
for example,
shoes,
there
like
is this
he's so,
character,
I don't know,
Marcel Lupin,
extravagant,
who is
or whatever.
It's actually a
wears
British
this
comedian,
kind of super
but
French
he's playing the
outfit with a
character
little,
of a
like,
Frenchman,
cravat
and he's
stuff
playing
like
it.
this,
He's
and he,
overplaying it.
does it.
He shows
and
up on
bits in this
stage
super
with a glass of
heavy
wine,
French accent,
without shoes,
and it's all
like
the whole
he's
character
so,
is built
I don't know,
around
kind of
stereotypes,
extravagant
based
or
on
whatever.
French people.
But
He
it's
wears this
the
kind of
format.
super French outfit
That's
with
just
a little
the
like cravat
vessel
and
he's
stuff
using,
like
the
this,
platform
and
he's
he
using.
So the
And
hacky-
does it,
the
his
hacky
bits in this
vessel.
super
Looks like a hacky
heavy
vessel.
Yes,
French
but the actual
accent.
jokes
and
are
it's
smart,
all the whole
funny,
character is built
and
around
well-written.
stereotypes.
So I would say
based
this is
on
not
French
Well, it's the
hack.
same
But
thing like
it's
with boring. format.
The format,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Like,
That's just the
So
the
I would say
vessel
it's
he's
hacky
using, the platform
in
he's using.
case
So the
the
hacky,
actual
the hacky
100%
vessel
success
looks like
rate.
a hacky vessel.
So if you know it's
but
going
the
to
actual
work,
jokes
then it's
are
hacky.
smart,
If you take a risk
funny,
and you put
and
some
well
effort
written.
and quality and
So
work
I would say
into
this
it,
is not
Well, it's
bad.
the same
I
thing
would
like
say
with
fair
Borat,
play.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly,
and
exactly.
Like the last point on that accent
So I would
thing,
say
like
it's
we used to
hacky
mention Philip Wang
in
before,
case
and
of
whether it's good or
100%
bad
success
accent, I think
rate.
it's also
So if you
more
know
to
it's
do
going
with
to work,
intention,
then it's
whether
hacky.
you
If you
really
take
are
a
trying
risk
to,
and
like,
you put
belittle
some
the
effort
people
and
that
quality
you're
and work
doing the
into
accent
it,
for,
then
or whether
I would say
you
fair
are
play,
punching
right?
up using that accent.
So the
Even
last
if you
point on
can't
that
do it
accent
well,
thing, like
you
just
want to give it a try. I don't mean to say
and
like
whether it's good or bad.
I've seen
accent,
people
I think
do the
it's
accent,
also
they
more
can't
to
do
do
it
with
that well, but they're
intention.
not doing it in a
whether you
mean-spirited
really
way. I
are
think
trying
that's
to
fine.
like
I mean,
belittle
hell,
the people that
you got to
you're
practice
doing the
somehow.
accent
So,
for.
you know,
Or
I don't,
whether
I don't
you
quite
are actually
go as
punching
far
up,
as
just
Philip
using
Wang
that
on
accent.
that
Even
one.
if you
Like,
can't do
if
it
it's done
well,
badly, just don't
you
do it.
just want to
It's
give
like,
it a try. I
well,
mean,
depends. If
I don't
it
mean to
sounds
say like
racist, then yeah,
I've seen people
stop it,
do
but
the
otherwise
accents,
they
yeah.
can't do it that
So
well.
anyway,
But they're not
to
doing it
move
in a
on,
mean-spirited
why do
way.
we
I
hate
think that's
hacks?
fine. I mean,
Well,
hell,
I think
you gotta
we hate
practice somehow.
hacks
So,
as comics.
you know,
We
I
hate
don't
hacks, I
quite
guess, because
go as far as
we
Philip
see
Wang on that
as,
one, like, you know, if
as
it's
an
done badly,
easy
just don't do
way
it. It's like,
of
well,
getting the
depends.
work
If it
done.
sounds
You know?
racist, then
So
yeah, but
it's
the work is
basically
getting
otherwise,
done.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
but it's
to move
basically
on,
the same thing
why do we hate
as
hacks?
we talked
Well,
about
I think
video games,
we hate
right?
hacks
As
if
comics,
I
we
spend
hate hacks,
20
I guess,
hours
because
building up my
we see
character
it
and
as,
getting all the
as an
experience
easy
and
way
money
of
and equipment,
getting the work
and
done.
you just use a cheat
You know?
code and we
So
both be
it's
that
the work
boss.
is getting done.
You know,
But
yeah,
it's
but
win.
it's basically
Yeah,
the
but
same
that's the
thing
thing.
as
The
we
question
talked
is,
about
should it only be
video
about
games,
winning,
right?
or whatever,
Yeah.
beating
If
the
I
boss?
spend
Because
20
first
hours
of all,
building up
I
my
mean,
character
I
and
might
getting
say,
all the
well
necessary
done, you
experience
won,
and money and
but that
equipment,
doesn't mean
and
I
you just use a
respect you
cheat
for
code
it.
and we both be
You
that
know,
boss.
and I think
You know?
as comedians,
But I
I
win.
personally
Yeah, but that's the
respect
thing. It's
the hack.
the question
And I'm
is,
not
should
saying
it
that
only be
none of
about
my
winning
jokes
or
are
whatever,
hacky or
beating
whatever,
the boss?
but I think there is
Because
a limit.
first of
right?
all,
There is a limit of
I might
usage
say,
that
well
you can
done,
apply
you won,
per set
but that
or per
doesn't
show.
that doesn't
so
mean
if you
I
have like a
respect you
small
for it.
opener,
That's
that's
just
like a
and I think
hacky
as comedians,
opener,
I
one-liner,
personally
or
cannot
introduction
respect
of
a
another
hack.
comic,
And I'm
as
not
we
saying that
mentioned,
none
they
of my
do
jokes are hacky
so
or
often
whatever,
on
but I think there
TV,
is a limit,
in
right? There
shows,
is a
in different
limit
shows
of
and things like
usage
this.
that you
If
can
it's
apply
a
per
small,
set or
like,
per show.
audience
So if
interaction,
you have like a
crowd work
small
thing, and
opener,
you have some
that's
prepared
just like a
answers that
hacky
you know are going to work,
opener,
even
one-liner,
based on stereotypes
or introduction
something
of
like
another
this,
comic,
as
you
we
know, like
mentioned,
there are
that they
some
do
so
German
often
people in the audience
TV,
in Moscow, and you're like,
in
oh,
shows,
Germans,
in
is it
different shows and
1943
things like this.
again?
If it's
I've heard these
small
jokes
like audience
million
interaction,
times,
crowd work
right,
thing, and you have
So
some
this
prepared
kind of
answers
stuff,
that you know are
okay,
going
if
to
it's
work,
for the purpose
even
of
based
just
on
getting that one laugh
stereotypes or
and
something
moving on,
like this.
fine.
You know,
But if
like
your
there are
whole
some
shtick as a
German
comic, if
people
your
in the audience
style
in Moscow, and you're like,
is
oh,
hacky,
Germans, is it
then I think, yeah,
1943
I will-
again?
you might
I've
get
heard these
the
jokes
laughs, you
like
might-
million
people
times,
might applaud
right?
and cheer and
So
give you
this kind of
standing
stuff,
ovation,
okay,
but
if it's
to
for the
me,
purpose of just
you'll never
getting that
get my
one laugh
respect.
and moving on,
Yeah,
fine.
and I
But
think
if your
another
whole
thing is
shtick
like-
as a comic, if
Okay,
your
let's take an
style
example. Like for
is
us,
hacky,
I get
then I
why
think, yeah,
we
I will.
do hacky
You might
material
get
and
the
things like that
laughs. You
sometimes. We
might people
lean
might
on
applaud
crutch
and cheer and
as a
give you
crutch
standing
because
ovation.
It gets
but
us out
to
there,
me,
especially when you're
you'll
beginning.
never get my
You're just
respect.
starting out. You're trying to find
and
your
I
voice.
think another
I get
thing
why,
is
like someone of our level.
let's take an
or something
example.
that
Like
would
for
be
us,
doing maybe,
I get
has some hacky
why
material
we
because
do hacky
they
material
might
and
be
things like that sometimes, or we might
still trying to
lean on
figure
a
out who
crutch
they are, right?
as a crutch because
And sometimes
it
you'll
gets
make
us out
some
there, especially when
mistakes,
you're
or you'll just
beginning,
take,
you're
it
just
easy
starting
path.
out, you're trying to
But
find your voice.
I think
I
that's
get
the
the
problem
problem
is
is
if you
someone
stick
of
with just
our
hack,
level,
then you
or
can
something
only
like
go
that
so
would be
far.
doing
I mean,
maybe,
you're going to be
has some
staying at a
hacky
club
material
level
because
where
they
yes, you'll
might
get hired
be
because you
still trying to
get the
figure out
results.
who
You
they
make
are,
people
right?
laugh and people like
and sometimes
like
you'll
you for
make
that.
some mistakes,
And
or you'll
sometimes
just
may
take
even
the easy
prefer that
path
over an
But
edgier.
I think that's the
quotation
problem
marks,
is if you
comic.
stick with just
But if
hack,
you get to
then
someone
can
like,
only
for
go
example,
so
if you do
far. I mean, you're going to
hacky be staying at a club
someone
level.
like Bill
yes,
Burr
you'll get
or Jim
hired
Gaffigan
because
or whatever
you do get the results. You make people.
I mean, I don't
laugh
think
and
they would
people
be
like
irritated.
you.
They wouldn't be
Like you for
annoyed
that.
at it.
And some
they would be
maybe
sort of
prefer
like,
that over
okay, well, let's see where you are in
edgier
20 years.
in quotation marks.
Because they'll be like, you're not going to
But
be
if
at
you
my
get to
level
someone
if
like,
you
for
keep
example,
doing
if you do
that.
Yeah, I
hacking
think the
material,
difference here
and someone
is
like Bill Burr
how far
or
can
Jim
you go
Gaffigan
with
or whatever
hacking,
see you.
and I think you can go
I mean,
quite
I don't
far.
think they would be
Maybe you
irritated.
can
They wouldn't
go
be annoyed at it.
quite
but they would
far
be
in
sort of like,
stand-up, literally.
Okay, well, let's see where you are in
But
20
it
years.
can open
Because
a
they'll
lot
be
of
like, you're
doors
not going to
for
be
you
at
in
my level
general.
if you keep
So I
doing
think
that.
if you're I think the difference
casting.
here is
if you're being
how far
constantly
can you go
hacking,
with
and you're getting
hacking,
people,
and I think you can go quite far.
enjoy your bits
Maybe
and
you
stuff.
can
You'll get
go
invited to do
quite
other,
far
you'll
in
get invited
stand-up,
to do other stuff.
literally.
You'll get invited
But
to do
it can open
different projects,
a lot of
maybe
doors
TV,
for you
maybe
in general.
some,
So I think if you're
hosting
being
of different
casting,
events, maybe
yeah,
something else.
if you're
and
being
you can
constantly
hack
hacking,
your whole life,
and you're getting people,
and your whole
getting people
career,
to know you, to enjoy your bits and stuff.
Yeah,
You'll get invited to do other
actual
you'll get invited to do other stuff.
You
You'll
get
get
invited
invited
for
to
Bill
do
Burr,
different projects,
maybe
TV, maybe some I don't know hosting of
maybe even
different
you can,
events, maybe something
based on the
else.
same
And
premise.
you can
Bill Burr
hack
is
your whole
performing
life
in
China,
your whole career,
and you go there and you're like mispronouncing Chinese words, and people are dying
only
of
in
laughter.
actual stand-up,
Maybe you can.
if you want to
You know
open
what I
for
mean?
Bill
But then
Burr,
you have to,
you
for
can't
every
do that
country,
with
find
simply
words
hack
that
material.
sound similar but mean different things.
Maybe even you
know?
can,
but
you know,
that's
based on the same
also
premise. If
a
Bill Burr is
hustle, I guess.
performing in
Right? So,
China,
but
and you go there and you're like mispronouncing Chinese words, and
quite
people are
far.
dying
Maybe
of
not
laughter.
exactly
Maybe you
stand-up.
can. You know what I mean?
Maybe
but then you have to,
people
for
are
every
like,
country, find
he's
words
just
that
funny.
sound
People
similar
who
but mean
don't
different
really
things.
appreciate,
You know,
stand-up
but
as an
that's
art
also
form or whatever.
hustle,
But just
I
want a
guess.
good laugh,
Yeah.
right?
You
So,
know,
but
and
what I'm trying to say is,
laugh,
I think you can go quite far. Maybe
well,
not
it doesn't
exactly
really
stand
matter
up if you just want.
Maybe
if you don't
yes,
understand the
people are
difference.
like, yeah, he, you know,
he's
so
just
I would
funny.
say that us,
People who don't
because we are
really appreciate
inside
this industry,
stand-up as an
and
art
it's easy for us to
form or whatever,
recognize
but just
all
want
these
a
things
good
that
laugh.
we've
You know,
basically enumerated.
But that's
What's
just it.
the
Is
heck?
it a good
we
laugh,
see it, we
or is it just a
recognize it.
simple laugh?
But for
Well,
a
it
simple
doesn't-
audience
doesn't
member
really
who
matter
comes to stand
if
up
you
once
just
in
want-
2,
if
3
you don't
months and
understand
just
the
wants to
difference.
laugh,
Yeah.
for them
You know,
it's just
so
a
I
funny.
would say that
who
us,
cares? They're not
funny
because
Joe,
we are
inside
So
this industry.
that's why I think
it's easy for us to recognize
quite,
all these things
let's
that
say,
we've
dangerous for the
basically
industry
enumerated.
because
What's a
you
hack?
can get
We see it, we
quite
recognize
far
it.
just
But
being
for
a
a
hack.
simple audience
Alright.
member who
Now,
comes to stand up
saying
once
how
in 2,
bad
3 months
hacking
and just
is
wants
all
to
the rest,
laugh, for them
is
it's
there
just a
actually
funny
good time to hack? They're not
funny
really.
joke.
Can you
Yeah.
hack it?
So
Yeah,
that's why I
that's
think
the-
it's
the big difference.
Quite,
Can you and
let's
should
say
you?
dangerous
Yeah,
for
I
the
think
for the
because
industry
everyone
because
can.
you can
Especially
get
if we look
quite
at these examples,
far.
just
Everyone
being
can
a
do an
hack.
accent.
Alright.
Everyone can
Now,
Google two
saying
words
how
that
bad
sound
hacking
similar and
is and all the
compare
rest,
them. Anyone
is there
can
actually a
create
good
this
time to
joke that
hack?
you've mentioned,
Can you
right?
hack
So
it?
Mother
Yeah,
Teresa and
that's
Justin Bieber,
and
I
I
think
think
you
you
came up
can
with
you
this
and
joke
should you?
right now,
Yeah,
right
I
during the
think
recording.
because everyone can.
So especially if
I
we
can
look at these
think of
examples,
another
everyone
example,
can
you
do
know,
an
like,
accent.
oh,
Everyone
I have
can
only
Google
two
two words that
things in
sound
my
similar
fridge.
and compare
I
them.
know celery
Anyone can
and
create this
beer.
joke that you've
Yeah.
mentioned,
And
right?
one
So
thing
Mother
is,
Teresa and
horrible,
Justin
bitter,
Bieber, and I
tasteless
think you
thing,
came
and
up with
another
this
thing
joke
is
right now,
beer.
right
Yeah.
during
You
the
know what I
recording.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
so
I
you
can
so if
think
you
of
are
another example.
anyone
you know,
can
like,
hack it.
I would say
I
anyone
have
can hack
only
it.
two
The real
things in my
question
fridge.
is, should you
I don't
hack
know,
it?
celery
And I would say
beer
in small
right?
amount
and
and
one
small
thing is
dosage,
horrible,
it's fine.
bitter,
Again, if
tasteless
it's an
thing, and
opener,
another
if
thing
it's
is
just somewhere
beer.
to just
You know
wake
what
up
I mean?
the
Like
crowd-
it's
the crowd a
so
bit.
you can
If
so
it's
if
just
you
for the
are
purpose
anyone
of,
can hack it.
you know,
introducing a
hack
comic
it.
something
The
like
real
this,
question is,
sure, why
should
not?
you hack it?
If you are, if
And
that's
I
your
would
whole
say
style, if
in
that's your
small
whole
amount,
set, if that's
in
your
small
whole material,
dosage,
if that's your,
it's
and
fine.
if you're doing it
Again,
three
if it's
times
an
in 10
opener,
minutes,
if it's just somewhere to
then
just wake
you
up
probably
the
shouldn't.
crowd a bit,
even
if
if
it's
it gets
just for the
people
purpose
laughing,
of
you know,
even if
introducing
people are
a
in
comic,
stitches,
something
if
like
they
this,
just
sure, why
can't
not?
breathe,
If you are, if that's your whole
laughter,
style, if that's your
I don't
whole
think
set, if
that's
that's your whole material,
always,
if that's your,
you know,
and if you're
it's-
doing it
it's-
three
doesn't
times
always
in
show
10
the
minutes,
quality of
then
comedy.
you
So I
probably
would say
shouldn't.
that even
Yeah, I
even
mean,
if
I
it
would-
gets
I would applaud
people
you
laughing
for doing a great set,
even if
but
people
I
are
would
in
not respect
stitches,
you
if
for
they
it.
just can't
You would hire the
breathe,
person for
they're
the next
dying of
show,
laughter.
corporate show.
I don't think
you pay
that's
them
always,
happily with a smile on your face, but
it's-
you're like,
it's
I do
doesn't
not respect
always show
you
the
at
quality
all.
of
Well,
comedy.
as an organizer
so
and
I would say
producer,
that if I see that
I would
people
applaud
people
you
want this
for doing
comic.
a great
Yeah.
set.
No,
Why
but I
not?
would not respect
It's
you
always
for
a
it.
question of
You
know,
would
as
hire
I
the
said,
person
you
for
can
the
get
next
quite
show,
far
corporate
by
show.
hacking
You'd pay
because
them
there are
happily with a smile on your
opportunities
face,
for
but you're like, I
people
do
and
not
such
respect
style
you
and
at
such
all.
material as
Well,
well.
as an organizer and
if we
producer,
look at it straight
if
from
I
the
see
kind
that
of business
people,
point of
people
view,
want this comic.
heck,
Yeah.
you know,
all you
why
want,
not? It's
as long
always
as
a
it
question
works.
of, you know, as I said,
Hack
you can
away.
get quite
But if
far
we look at it
by
as a
hacking
as a fellow
because there are
comedian,
opportunities
as a
for
peer,
such
I would,
people and such
you know,
style and
frown
such
upon
material
that,
as
and I
well.
would be like,
So if we
really,
look at
one
it
of
straight
those?
from the kind of
Yeah.
business
like you
point of
misunderstood
view,
the Russian word
hack
again.
all you
Oh,
want,
come on.
as long as it works.
Nice use of the word
Hack
penis
away.
there,
But
bro.
if we look at it as a fellow comedian, as
What
a
do you
peer,
think?
Yes.
you know,
Well,
frown
one
upon
ought
that, and
not
I would
to
be like,
hack, to make it
really,
more
one of
biblical.
those?
Thou shalt
Yeah.
not
Like you misunderstood the Russian word
unless
again. Oh,
the
come on.
crowd Right. is dead. Nice in which case, I'm like, yeah, fair enough. If you need to like use it as a, it's like a little cheat code to get you over that. Because sometimes if you're having a very rough crowd, or you just make it more biblical or something, you might do a simple hacking to get the ball rolling.
The crowd is dead.
Okay, fine, fair
in
enough.
which case, I'm like, yeah, fair enough. If you need to like use it as a, like a little cheat code to get you over that hump.
But like I said, it's not a sometimes if you're having a very rough crowd, or you're just not connecting, well, hey, you went there, you might do a simple little hacking to get the ball rolling, to get that laugh, to get it going, to save the night, and the rest of us will do our best to keep it going.
If that's what opens them up, then fine.
So you would say
but
that
like you said, it's not a respect thing, but at the same time, probably respect the person
prepared
in
joke
the sense of,
that
well,
you
hey,
have,
you
or
went there, you
a
were
whole
willing
bit
to
or
stoop
whatever
to
that
that level,
it's going
to
work,
get that laugh,
and
to
you have
get
it
it
in
going,
like
to
a
save the night,
glass
and the rest of
case
us
on
will
the
do our
wall,
best to
which
keep
is
it going
like
there,
in
brother,
case of
like,
emergency,
way to go.
break the hack.
So
you would say,
yeah,
right,
exactly.
a hack should be
And I don't mind
like
it
a little
if you have like a little
prepared joke
that
you have, or a whole bit or whatever that you know
there might be
is going
elements
to
of
work,
little bits of
and you
hacking
have it
there,
in like
but as long as
a
it's not the main
glass
structure,
case on the wall, which is like in case of emergency, emergency, break the hack.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So,
Like that, and I don't mind it if you have like a little hacky bit in the middle of a whole set like that. You can use it as long as there might be elements of little bits of hack in there. You can taste as long as it's not the main structure. If you know what I mean, you can use that as like little, like adding a little bit of pepper. I'd say to a dish or something like that. To do a hack is at the beginning. A little bit of really vinegar or salt or something like that. In the middle, I'm like, you can use it as long as it's not the main thing. Like if it's peppering or whatever, fine. If you're using it towards the end, though, okay.
close the show.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'd say, man, how bad was the show that you had to do a hack is at the beginning. I would really easily forgive that. In the middle, I'm like, well, yeah, depending. Like if it's peppering or whatever, you might want to reflect on your whole thing. If you're using it towards the end,
so if you're big to close the show,
yeah, I'd be like, man, how bad was the show that you had to use hack to make
what you're saying is, if hack is soup, that's okay. If hack is the main dish, that's not okay.
No, only as a spice. You might want to spice over the top.
But if hack is the dessert, so if you're big, then it's a big no-no.
No, then there's no respect. And actually, I would respect you more for bombing.
What you're saying is, I would be like, if hack is soup, that's okay. If hack is the main dish, that's not okay. I think if we can summarize this whole episode in one sentence, if hack is the dessert, don't hack, then it's a big no-no. Take it on the chin.
No, there's no respect. And actually, I would respect you more for bombing. If you do, I would be like, please just bomb. We all slip, we all do it. Like everyone's hack. Take it like a trooper.
So I think if we can summarize this whole episode and in one sentence, of emergency, break the hack. Don't hack.
Hack in moderation.
Take it on the chin.
Moderation. Yeah.
All right. So
try not to
thank you
hack.
so much for listening. And if you want to support us,
we all
and you want to help us keep this podcast going and growing and getting better, etc. Hack responsibly. First of all, in case of emergency, everywhere. Break the hack. We have our social media pages up and running. All right. Facebook, Instagram. Thank you so much for listening. And if you want to support us and you want to help us keep this podcast going and growing and getting better, etc. What you can do first of all is subscribe everywhere. So you can. We have our social subscribe, swipe right, whatever you need to do. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to help us develop David in terms of better David has Grindr, better promotion, etc. Also donate. We have a page set up so you can leave some coin, like, subscribe, swipe right, whatever you need to do. And also, if you want to help us work, develop in addition to that, better equipment, you can also recommend us to someone. You can rate us on the also donate. We have a Patreon page set up so you can leave some coin, leave whatever amount list, right? Can spare see us to and follow us. Let's say
also, appreciate and especially our work. For this one, because this is in
addition to that, if you can also recommend us to someone. You can rate us on the platform you are listening us on because this helps us go up in ratings and the list, right? The more people can see us and follow us.
Fantastic. Also, and especially for this one, also this is, ideas for topics. I mean, it's very subjective. The more, the better. The more, you have other things that you think are hack. So thank you very much for listening. Things that you've seen. I've been David Munoz. Write them in the comments on the Instagram or the Facebook or the Twitter that we have. Everything under the Comedy Kiosk. And that'd be fantastic because we would love to hear it. Also, ideas for topics. The more the better. The more we'll give you a shout out if you do. So thank you very much for listening. I've been David Munoz.
And I'm Igor Monday.
Ciao.
Goodbye.